And none of you people, I think, are going to be so dedicated. I don't want you to go to that because it's very difficult. And whenever he committed a mistake, he immediately punished himself. And you know how exactly that Eluthani is, isn't it? A sharp steel pen.
No.
And of course he didn't use that end, he used the other end, the blunt end, and whenever he committed a mistake, he used to hit his head with that Eluthani on the reversal position. If he had not in the correct position, he would have been gone long ago. So the reason was, he was called the Eluthani Kavinja, and with all this self-punishment, because nobody asked him to do it, he couldn't bear the sight of committing any mistake in Tamil. And he started hitting himself and started developing some ulcers. He didn't hit himself on the side, he hit himself right on the crown. You know what it means. He's trying to give a nice knock on the 1008 petal lotus. And he started developing ulcers, but he didn't mind it. And he went on. And the characteristic feature of this Eluthani Kavinjar is, he was always having some sores there in the crown of the head. And to that extent, he was dedicated to Tamil and singing songs in Tamil. And these songs which they sang, they didn't simply sing and start publishing it and call themselves great men and women of letters. They had to submit it to great academies which evaluated their works in a very critical fashion. And such academies are called Sangam. Kriya Babaji Yoga Sangam. It's a very beautiful word, Sangam. See how musical it is. Sangam. But once you see in Chicago, you put in as Chicago Babaji Yoga Sangam. They said, no, we can't accept Sangam. Why not? You can accept only society. I'm not saying you should use the word society. My friends, Sangam is a Sangam. Anbu is Anbu. Pure love is pure love. How can you use any other word? Are you going to write a big thesis to explain a word? It's ridiculous. Every word which you find in Tamil, the classical language of yoga, has got a deep significance. So the word Sangam, which you try to translate as society in the international language of English, is absolutely vast in its original conception and limited in the conception of a society. Sangam, see how it is, sa, yin, ka, yum, sangam. It's a very musical word which is used in a very comprehensive sense. What is a Sangam? You people have heard of Sangamam, the place where everything unites. If you go to Parangipettai, the birthplace of great master, there is a Sangamam there. Sangamam of the Vallar with Hindu Mahasamudram. That is to say, there is a river called Vallar on the banks of which our great master was born. And this river goes and joins the sea, where all the sacred rivers come and is considered to be very sacred. And that place is called a Sangamam. The place where a river goes and flows into the ocean is called a Sangamam. And you got another very beautiful place which it took for me quite a lot of time, many years of study in the colleges to understand. Triveni Sangamam. This place is near Allahabad in North India, Uttar Pradesh, where once in 12 years a great Kumbh Mela or a congregation of sadhus and holy persons are held. And that place is called Triveni Sangamam. Tiri is similar to a tree, isn't it? Three was derived from tree. Triveni. Moondru, three. Tree. That is how a tree came from tree. It means three. Triveni Sangamam means the place where three sacred rivers join together. When I saw that, I started scratching my head and said, what? Triveni Sangamam? Very beautiful word indeed. There should be three rivers. When I went to that spot, according to the great scriptures of yoga, which is soaked in nothing but the nectar of truth, there should be three rivers. I went there as a geologist. I found only two rivers.
Oh no.
One is the sacred river Ganga. The other one is Yamuna. Where is the third one? The eyes of my geological eyes couldn't find it. I said, look at this. Yogic scriptures say three rivers, but I find only two. Is it an hallucination? Is it a Maya? I had this problem for a long time, I can tell you. So, we start challenging. You see, I studied geology. I got an A grade, first rank. Full of my ego. That will not do. That will not do. It shouldn't puff out your ego. It should blow out your ego. That is true education. Repeatedly, Triveni Sangamam talks about three rivers. Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. Where is Saraswati? Saraswati is an underground river. Thus, it is called a Triveni Sangamam. A place where all the three rivers of the physical, subtle and the spiritual unite. And that is a place where you got a union taking place. That is the definition of yoga. The scientific art of perfect God and truth union. Of Shivanadam and Vidhu Shakti. Yeah, that is a little bit advanced.
No,
Leave it at that.
go into Yogi.
So we find there is a union. Union should take place in a Sangam. It doesn't take place in a go-go society. A Sangam. So that is the term we should use. I'm at least happy that California state is very progressive and they have allowed us to have California Babaji or Sangam. It's good for you people. Of course, I'm not entering into politics, you don't misunderstand me. It's good for you people to have governors like Brown, who are more spiritual minded, and people who can tolerate this type of terms being used. But anyway, we fell in line with that rules and regulations because we believe in being law abiding and we call it Chicago Babaji Society. But what a poor term. Sangam should really lead to a union. Union of what? The Jivatman and the Paramatman, the individual soul and the cosmic soul. Of the Jiva, the individual soul, with the Shiva, the cosmic soul. That is a Sangam. Union of Kundalini Shakti, which is lying dormant in the Mooladhara Chakram, with the ultimate truth in the 1008 petal lotus, Ayurvedic Chakram. That is a Sangam. A yogic Sangam. Yoga Sangam. Not only that, there are 4 types of people. The whole of humanity is classified into 4 groups according to yoga. People who are brahmacharis leading the life of a celibate. Most of them are Illaravasis leading the life of a householder. There are many souls leading a dedicated life as you people do as Vanaprasthis, dedicated souls. They are the people who wear white. And finally we come to the Turavis and the renunciates who wear ochre cloth. So you're going to have an ochre lining outside, don't worry. It is symbolic of that great fire of Kundalini Yoga, which one day is going to burn to ashes. Your greatest friend, the ego. So it is very important that you got the correct colors of the 4 stages, or the 4 classifications of humanity at large. Brahmacharis, Illaravasis, Vanaprasthis and Turavis. And when you go to a madam or a monastery, there's only renunciates there. And when you go to your home, find householders there. And a place where people belong to all the 4 walks of life can get together, practice yoga according to their religion, and think and seek God is a Sangam. So this is important for you to understand why Master wants his centers to be called Sangam, so that you can have true Balam strength. Union is strength, and that is Balam. Instead of saying Balam, if you say Palam, they'll get you a fruit, no strength. So you should try to use the proper laws, and then only you'll be able to get the proper words and the proper inspiration. So it is very important for us to live according to the great ideals of Tamil Kriya Sitthantham. Then only you are going to get full benefit out of it. And so we had, that is how the great Tamil language of the Siddhas was maintained in all its purity and its glory and greatness right through the ages by the 3 great Sangams. Mudal Sangam, Idai Sangam, Kadai Sangam. Mudal Sangam is the first academy. To understand the first academy, I am very happy that Master made me go to college, the university, and study geology at the postgraduate level. Because when you try to read the ancient literature of Tamil Nadu, ancient Tamil literature, they talk about a Madurai. Madurai is the name, the word Madurai is derived from the word Maduram, which means sweet. See how beautifully they name city. But sometimes the way they give the names to cities in some other parts of the world makes somebody rock with laughter. Because they give all sorts of funny names to cities. And all of them do not serve as a great source of inspiration. They are very materialistic. So it's important for us to give beautiful names so that people can meditate upon them and attain the beauty which is embedded therein. So the word Madurai is derived from the word Maduram, which means Madhu, which means sweetness, sweet nectar. We had this Madurai, we do have a Madurai now also, which is about 56 miles west of Sitthantham ashram, which is our international headquarters at the moment, where we propose ultimately to establish Master's College and University. 56 miles west of that place is one of the most beautiful cities in Tamil Nadu called Madurai. And that Madurai, which you find even today, was the epicenter of the Kadai Sangam, or the third and the last Sangam. Before that we had a Idai Sangam, the second Sangam, and the Mudar Sangam. And Mudar Sangam speaks about having been located in another place called Madurai, which is about 200 miles, roughly 200 miles south of the Kumari temple, which you have in the southernmost tip of India. The word Kumari has been converted and distorted and murdered by the Britisher who ruled India with the term Comarin, because he couldn't pronounce Kumari. Kumari became Comarin. What Comarin? And having some sales in textiles, Comarin. It is Kumari. Kumari is Kumari. And the word Kumari means divine maiden. Probably the conception that you have got probably in Christianity is your virgin. They talk about that Kumari, nothing like Immaculate Conception. Kumari in the truest sense of the term, who in thought, word and deed is absolutely chaste. The very personification and incarnation of chastity is a Kumari. And that is how the Shakti is worshipped in that particular spot in Tamil Nadu, Kumari. And what you find there? A very small, beautiful temple dedicated to Kumari, the divine maiden. And that is another name for Parvati Devi. There she is being worshipped as the Virgin Kumari Parvati. And according to Tamil literature, which is now confirmed by the remarkable studies of geology, particularly stratigraphy, and what is called the great conception of drifting continents, which came into existence as a result of the studies of Wagner and others. According to Tamil literature, this shrine of Kumari